G'day guys, Greg here. Now it's meat pie review time, and today I'm off to a place that one of my subscribers suggested that I should go to. It's called Bread'n'Stuff at Cornubia. He reckons they've got the best curry steak pie going around. So let's whip inside, grab one, suss it out and see how good their pies are. Let's go. Alright, here we go, a meat pie from Bread'n'Stuff. Now, they didn't actually have any curry steak pies left, so they must be pretty popular. Now, old mate said I should try the pork pie, and they didn't have that either. So, I thought I'd get the chunky steak pie and see what that's like. Anyway, $6.80 it cost, and it has got a bit of weight about it. I've got the scales. Let's see how much it does weigh. 226 grams. Well, that's about 30 grams heavier than most of the other pies I try. So far, so good. Anyway, let's crack it open out of the bag, suss it out and see what it looks like. Oh, I can't wait. I am fanging too, by the way. Oh, gee, that is a very nice looking pie. It looks really buttery or oily or greasy or flavoursome. And I can just tell that by looking at the crust. Now let's crack it open and see how chunky these bits of steak are. Whoa. Gee, that's looking all right. Look at this, straight away. Big chunk there, big chunk there. A nice thick rich gravy, and there's more chunks there. Seems to be a lot of chunks of meat in there, and that gravy just looks rich, thick, delicious, and it's smelling really nice. Now this pastry does look like it's really nicely layered, and like I said, the colour of it looks really buttery and tasty. Let's give it a try. Seasoned, oily-ish, not getting too much of a buttery flavour, but at least it has got some flavour, and it is nice and flaky and layered as well. And let's try some of this gravy. Woo, mate. It's quite salty, nicely seasoned. It has got a nice classic meat pie flavour, and it's tasting very nice. Let's just dive on in. Wow. Oh man. That is super flavourful. And I'm loving this bottom pastry too. It's nice and soft. And when you look at it, you can see that the pastry is only taking up a smaller percent than the meat. Some of the pies I get, the pastry's like this thick, and the meat's only like that thick inside. So, very good so far. And here's a nice big piece of chunky steak. That's looking nice. Well, tender, tasty. It is pretty salty though. I usually don't mind a bit of salt in a pie, well, some seasoning at least, but this is probably a little bit over the edge of what I would normally expect or like, but I mean, it's still good. I've only had one bite. Let's just keep going. Yeah. Well, that's super tasty. But it is very salty. Maybe a little bit too salty for some. For me, it's right on the edge. But that salt is adding, obviously, some nice flavours. And, well, I just found another chunk of steak. Look at that one. Oh, dude. That is huge. Boy. That is a good pie. But I wonder what score I'd give it out of 10. Well, value-wise, $6.80 for this pie. That's a pretty stock standard price for a pie nowadays. Could be a little bit higher than some, a little bit less than the others. And the weight of it, about 225 odd grams, that means it's about 10 to 12% heavier than most other pies that I try. The flavour, well, the pastry on it was really nice. It had that beautiful sheen of oily goodness, but didn't have any butter flavour, which is what I usually do like, but it did taste good. It was nice and layered. It wasn't too thick, and the base pastry wasn't a hard shell. It was nice and soft too, so really easy to eat. And the meat inside, it was super tender. It had chunks of beef throughout the gravy as well, and the gravy was nice and thick and rich. Classic meat pie flavour, although it was a bit salty. And even though I am a salt fiend, I even found it probably a little bit too salty for me. But that's just a personal choice, but it is something that you do notice. The pastry isn't too flaky either, so it's not going to leave a big mess in your car. But all round, mate, it's a super tasty pie, and I'm really enjoying eating it. So for my all over value, all over flavour, all over taste, all over everything score for the Bread and Stuff Bakery at the Riverlakes Plaza at Cornubia. Mate, I reckon this deserves a... There's no denying it. That is a good pie. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Mate, it was really tasty. The only thing that I thought that let it down was it was a little bit too salty, but besides that, mate, absolute beautiful pie. Big chunks of steak, gravy's good, pastry's good, price is pretty good. What more do you want? Well, I did notice that they do banh mi's there too, so I'll probably have to whip back and try what their banh mi's like as well. It's a pretty good little plaza, this one, actually, and there's a fish and chip shop I can see right over there, so I'm going to have to come back to this little plaza again. It looks like a little gold mine for the people that live around here. Anyway, that's the Bread and Stuff meat pie. Unfortunately, I couldn't try the curry steak one, and, well, if the plain steak is like that, I am sure the curry steak one is going to be awesome. But you might want to have to get in here early, because by the time I got here at lunchtime, sold out. If you've made it this far in the video, won't you show it some thumbing love? Subscribe for more meat pie and other food reviews. And, well, if you've got any places that you really think I should try around Brisbane or the Gold Coast, always just let me know in the comments below, because I do read them and I do follow up on them. Although it can take me several months, sometimes even years. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. I eat a meat pie. See you then.
Ooh yeah, this is Greg's Kitchen, where the reviews are being